Hey guys, Brad McCraw, MOSAIC Pro Events CEO and executive producer. We're here with 4 staff members. We're just going to rattle off some stuff and see where this goes. Jeff had some concepts. We get us started, which is just conversational starters, but it's all conversational. But I'll throw out one and get a conversation started. What's something that MOSAIC doesn't compromise on? What's something we don't compromise on? We've talked about the extra 5%, how we try to go above and beyond in the extra 5%, but I think that's a good question for viewers. What's something we don't compromise on, or just in production world, something that sets us apart from other people or that other people should look at, not only to us, but to add to their repertoire of what they could be doing better. We had a story from another production guy who did a show with people, not us, another production company. We won't name any names. But he just talked about how they had to, his first time in his career, they had to push the general session. It was an opening night general session, and they didn't open doors because the production team wasn't ready.
They were not show ready.
They were not show ready, so they had to push production general session until the next morning.
Ooh.
Yeah, they cut the whole night session.
That's never happened. I mean, that's never happened for me. I had one instance, another production company I worked for, it was raining, trucks didn't get unloaded in time, and we pushed the doors like 15 minutes. And I think that's the first time one and only time it's ever happened to me. But that's not bad, 15 minutes.
I mean, doors have been pushed, but not
the next day.
Anything that has to do with like us not being ready. Nothing close to that.
Right.
I was asked the same question on a podcast I did earlier. And I said our culture. Obviously, I think our culture is what sets us apart. Not only twofold, I said our culture, and then it was geared more towards like church, how you can treat your volunteers. I said, like, you need to honor the people, but you also need to honor the wives and kids, because we're asking a lot of the people, which I say like at Easter, like, hey guys, thanks for coming out and spending Easter with us. You could be home with your families.
Yeah.
But I think we need to be good, and other production companies should do the same about not only the contractor or their staff, but their staff spouses, because they're sacrificing just as much, if not more, because they don't have their spouses at home for holidays.
Right. Agreed.
Yeah, I would say it's details in general. I think in all aspects, like production, like, you know, it's things such as just like sight lines and how everything looks clean and you can't see cables, and then down to like all of the advancing we do with like hotels and venues, arenas, where we give them tech letters and they tell us all the time, like, we've never had anything detailed like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Down to the wire.
Which is huge.
And then details and, you know, how we treat our crew and take care of our crew, like make it a priority to not, it doesn't matter the size of the show, we're treating our crew the same.
I feel like overall quality, like even like on the advance emails, like we're asking for like really specific stuff from the vendors because we know it's like the best and we're very familiar with it. I mean, we'd be fine with lower end gear or entry level gear, but like even Knisley asking like for like very specific audio stuff, very specific like console, just like everything super specific as to what we need. So it's quality is just.
Yeah, obviously I say it all the time. One thing, the blessing about not owning gear is we can use what we want, the highest quality that we want. Like, that's super intentional for a reason.
Yeah, and what makes sense for the show.
Yeah, what makes sense for the client and for the show.
Everything's tailored,
which is huge. I think a lot of production companies overlook that. Like, you're not just there to sell a product, you're there to provide a service. So it should be based off of clients' expectations and then providing what's best for those expectations.
Yeah, and those standards don't go down just because it's a really small show for 100 people,
exactly.
150 people.
Which they should.
Still try to get the best gear for any show we do. It doesn't matter if it's 150 people or
it's trusted sources and gears. And it doesn't put you in those compromising positions where you have to push general session the next day, because you know what you're getting, you know it's highest quality, you know it's been quality checked. Like, those are some integral parts of what we do and how we do it.
Yeah, it gives the results because you're using gear that you know and trust is going to work, instead of just using what's back in the shop to make some ROI and just, you know, keep pushing it out there.
Yeah, it'll always bite you in the ass.
I think back to Knisley's thing on details, we pride ourselves in the Duv Queens.
Duv Queens. So we've got a couple ladies on the team that we call the Duv Queens, just because they're so stellar. Jennie's one of them. Sonia, a long-time freelancer for us. Yeah, Duve Queens. If it's a piece of truss that's not black, it usually gets covered in black duvetine.
But even black truss,
Even black truss
Right.
is covered. It's rough.
it's still, I mean, you can see through it, and it's a little bit like ring, and you can see the cables. Even though if the management's nice and neat, you can still see some.
It's amazing those little details and how impressive they are. When you look up at the ceiling, you don't just see a bunch of truss, you see the stage design.
Right. Well, we had another friend come visit us at a show.
Daniel from
Yeah.
DC Pro. Shout out to DC Pro.
Shout out to DC Pro. This is before, like, even before we started partnering with them, and he came to a show, and he was like in awe of
Yeah, that was
all the
that was the
moves
first thing he pointed out.
Right.
Like I looked up at the ceiling trying to figure out why I couldn't see any truss.
I know.
Just because it was covered.
That's because Brew and I spent hours.
Yeah, it keeps your focus on the stage.
Juvatine, if you're not in the industry, what's her name on Smartless? They always talk to this guy's sister. They explain stuff to somebody that doesn't know their ins.
I can't remember her name.
Chrissy. This is for the Chrissy. That's my sister. Duvatine is a black cloth, 4 foot tall, 100-foot rolls. It's a black cloth that you can use to cover everything. Gaff tape it.
And it rips on its
It
own.
rips on its own. It's a wonder. It's clean. In our industry,
Great.
it's the best thing ever.
Gaff and Duv.
Gaff and Duv.
Gaff and Duv.
Lots of Gaff and Duv on shows.
Gaff is
A
the
lot.
tape we use. Gaff tape.
It's great.
Title sponsor. Gaff tape. Do you need to tape something down? Pro Gaff tape. Pro Gaff.
You need a wallet made? Gaff tape.
A Zen holder?
Gaff tape. Gaff tape.
If you want a discount on Gaff tape, you just come to one of our
Promo
shows
code?
and take it out of work.
Or less.
Yeah,
You want a discount on Zen? Promo code nice.
I do that time to time. Just I'm gonna just keep this.
We always have a
my
roll.
Pelican.
We always have a roll at our house.
Shout out to SLP.
It's amazing. SLP. We bought it either way. We just have a roll at our house.
True. Very true.
Oh, that's good. I think that's all good stuff. He had a couple other ones. I think, let's see. Here's a good one. It's just more relative to what we're doing now. For Easter 2025, we went into Trinity Church, which is a great church here in town. Produced our Easter services. How did the team pivot and work through the challenge of the house truss not being able to be flown, even though it was on our approved rigging plot? That's probably a good one for Robert. Frustration point. But I think it's just a good point. Pivoting. What do we do on site? There's always pivot. We try to do our best pre-production wise. Obviously, that's what you guys do in and out of the office every day. But there's always going to be pivot points. So I think it's what are some hurdles that we've come across and how did we adjust accordingly?
I would love to answer that, but I was not paying attention to any of that because I was head down in audio.
Yeah, you never left front of house.
I mean, I wouldn't say I never was front. I was busy.
You were busy.
But yes, yeah, I saw it and I heard about it and I said, they'll figure it out. And that's the nice thing is we trust our team.
Yeah.
Even though we do all this pre-pro, I think that's doing the pre-pro helps us. So when stuff changes on site, we're bogged down by that one thing rather than being bogged down by 100 things that we didn't plan for.
Right.
And our team is very good at, I mean, that's how you make in this industry, just being good at, troubleshooting. And that's part of troubleshooting is when the venue approves something and you get there and they say, oh, no, this isn't approved. You're like, well, you did approve it. And then they say, well, it's not approved. You don't have an option. So
Right.
Yeah, our recent one is this risers. We've got risers where a year ago, they would let us put LED anything on a riser. And now hotels are telling us we can't do it because they're too heavy.
Yep.
So they're pushing back on us using risers, which is obviously a hurdle we have to overcome. Rob, you got anything?
yeah, I mean, you were part of that. You were PM, right? Or were you not there mentally or physically?
No, I was setting up cams and wireless with Hayden, but wireless. But no, I mean, Robert just reached out to the people that we trust in the valley. And they were able to
we had to source a bunch of Lecos.
They were definitely able to help us out. I mean, they don't work like weekends unless like a show is actively going out or like pulling
Especially
for
Easter
a
weekend.
big show. Yeah. So it was cool that I think there was like 2 companies. I don't know the names of them right now, but they helped us out and got it all delivered and ended up being fine.
Yeah.
But I think instead of like Robert sitting there and huffing and puffing and arguing with the house guy saying, you guys, no, you approved this. Like what the hell? He just like, okay, it is what it is, and just went immediately to
That's the best.
how can we adjust?
Right.
We also
Sitting
didn't have
there
time
arguing with it
to
together.
one day load in.
Yeah.
Not much time to pivot.
Well, and I feel like this is a perfect example for like when people say, oh, you guys don't own gear. Well, if you did own gear, you could have just gone back to your warehouse and got it.
Yep.
But knowing our some of our other vendors, like how busy they are, it wouldn't have been in the warehouse anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So, or if it is, it's
Most people don't
not
have-
enough.
Just sitting there.
And they're still going to have to sub-rent. So now because you own the gear, you're still sub-renting all of it or some of it. And it's still a logistics thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it goes back to, it doesn't matter. Like we're now, because we don't own the gear, we reach out to our trusted vendor partners that we have, and we can reach out to multiple
ones. Yeah, we probably called 3 or 4.
and they're all people we trust, so we know they're going to come
great.
through, and they all, take care of us because we take care of them.
I think that's a good note, period, in this industry. Like, obviously, your partnerships, we have key partners that we work with, but we also have great relationships with 10 other production companies in every state intentionally, because it's such a partnership. You can never own all the gear. Like, find good friends who are going to support you when you come up with an issue and need 12 Lecos on an Easter Saturday.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, we always think, like when we're going to, I don't know, say Florida or something, me and Robert always go back and forth, like, okay, if we were to need something, I mean, that's far away from SLP, that's far away from Decent Pro in Oklahoma.
Right.
Yep.
We always go, okay, J-Thor is like 2 hours away from us there. So if we need anything, we know we can call them, and
Which is great.
Sean will hook us up and, get us what we need, which is cool to have that sort of flexibility going anywhere. Like we're going
from Phoenix.
different super far away from these guys' homes for our gear vendors, and they'll still, like, we still have like a, fail safe, which is cool.
Which is awesome
Yeah,
and critical the way we operate without owning gear. But even if you own gear, I think it's great to have great friendships, because you just never know what you're going to get into.
Yeah, not just like throwing elbows around. Like, yeah.
Which a lot of guys do. They just see it as competition, which we just don't. I mean, I don't really see anybody as our competition, because if we lose clients, it's our fault. But let's just know, I think everybody is, if you just work hand in hand with other companies, it's so much more successful. And there's plenty of business to go around for everybody.
Very true.
Let me throw out another one.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's see. This is a good one. Each person can answer. It's kind of a more pointed. What's the most misunderstood part of your role inside the industry?
Oh man.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think just what I do in general.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about even with your wife, like we talk about all the time, this industry is so hard to explain. Like even going home and explaining to your wife what you do for a living is almost impossible.
She doesn't get it.
Yeah.
No, Robert's wife doesn't get it. I think you're the only one that gets it, because you're in it.
Because I'm in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's hard. Yeah, that's totally. It's such a niche. And all I see on social media is the fun times, just riding around town on scooters.
I think people ask me all the time, so what do you actually do?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what do you mean? What do I actually do? It's like, oh, I see like the Instagram posts and whatnot. And it's like, yeah, that's like, that's our show. That's our Super Bowl, once a month or twice a month, 3 times a month.
But even I get people that'll walk in, man, I don't remember what show it was. It might have been AmFest. I'll get people to walk in the room and their first question is like, how much of this existed before you walked in?
None.
Yeah, literally nothing.
Yeah.
That's
We
the
walk
kind of
concrete
floor.
room.
walk into an empty room, but it's like, I think the most misunderstood thing is like, people are like, oh, you guys have an office?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
You don't
we don't just walk in and start pointing fingers and saying like, hey, this goes here, this goes there. We don't walk in and start teching or producing or PMing a show. Like,
When we get in the building.
you have to plan everything
Everything's
in advance.
planned, yeah.
So I think that's a really misunderstood thing, is like, we're the ones actually playing. And there's only, a couple of us doing it.
Yep.
3, 4, 2, 1
Yeah,
sometimes
depending on the show.
depending on the show.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge
Yeah,
misunderstanding.
I feel like you can make a whole episode out of that question, because I feel like
Sure.
a lot of people
It's
who are
misunderstood in general.
in the industry, like that's what draws them in, is like, what does it all entail to make this work? Like you go
Well, I think that's what we get
concert
so
or
much,
anything.
We get so much PR from the design standpoint, not to because I do the design, but just people don't ever, with other production companies, they don't see that side of it. Like, oh gosh, like that one, it started on a paper plate. Like, it's just funny to see from concept to execution.
Yeah, I think most people just don't understand the behind the scenes of, like, we're all like nerds, and there's like speakers. There's super nerds.
We're super nerds.
Who like Drew Brashley, super nerds. You have to be very knowledgeable in troubleshooting and how everything connects. Like that's the biggest thing.
Huge part of it.
And in all aspects, especially with what we do, we have to be well-rounded. And then we have, department things, but you have to be very detail-oriented in those things and know how they all connect.
Yep.
Because a lot of people, they see a lighting console or an audio console and they think you're pushing a fader up and lights turn on or sound comes out of it. But there's so much more before you get there. That's after 99%
the amount of variables
Yeah.
go into it.
So I think it's just that, like, knowing what that all entails, and you only learn that by being in it.
Yeah, by doing it.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's it.
That's a wrap on this episode. Thanks for listening. Thanks for following along. We'll see you soon.